Hello everyone, right now I'm currently sick, so I'm just going to be completing the homework and the classwork that was done in computer science on the Friday, 3rd of October. Damn it. But anyways, so I'm sick, as you can tell. I'm going to be coughing during this video. If you don't like coughing, don't watch this video then. But so basically the question is, actually I'll just show you the question. So the question is computer science pre-mock this 2024 for the computer science leaving cert. Now, funny enough, is this question is actually derived from the I think it was 2022 or 2023 Leaving Cert Paper C higher level question on the actual Leaving Cert. And funny enough, I had actually already done this question in transition year, so but I have to redo it again because I don't have it saved because like back then I was a bit of a silly boy. I didn't use git control or source control on my coding stuff that I did in transition year, so it's a lot of progress deleted in it. So but I do have familiarity. I'm going to. So one thing, the few things you should know before watching this video is I'm going to be explaining my thought process on why I do the things, the why I do it. And now I'm pretty sure you have 1 hour in paper C. My idea is you spend 15 minutes building your code so that you can be able to spend the last 10 minutes refining it and debugging it if needed be. Um, when you do your code, you have to be familiar with a lot of the things such as flowcharts and all that because sometimes you can make errors. Like for example, I actually remember my test. I was looking back at my question. I was like, ah shit, I didn't do a nested if statement. I lost marks out of that. See, that's another thing is when you're under pressure, like all the logic might be gone. So that's a thing you have to be worried about. But anyways, I'm just gonna pause this real quick and do one quick. Sorry about that. I actually had to take my medicine because I actually don't know even why I had to take my steroid medicine, not like gym steroids, because if you take gym steroids, you will not be able to have kids. But anyways, that's beside the point. Now, I'll try not to get distracted during this video, so if I do, you can just skip. But let's begin, shall we? So the result of each row chart is stored in a variable called row result. Each of the 100 results are appended to a list called results. Very simple question. Um, so usually they'll give you the file. No, they should give you the file because like, are you gonna spend 5 minutes of your exam typing all that? Like, come on now. And like, while you're typing this out under pressure, there's a lot of margin for error to happen. Like, you could, um, like, bro, you could do throw RESLUT, and you're not even gonna notice that until runtime, and you're gonna be like, what the fuck is going on? Because I'll be honest with you, sometimes Python can be very a bit ambiguous with their errors. But anyways, lucky enough, my teacher here does actually have the file, so I'm just going to. Pretty sure I already downloaded it. So what I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna send this to me on local send. Local send is a very useful tool if you are working at home. So let me just open up local send here on this computer too. Has avocado. Here's the question. Send it to Handsome Avocado. I can never, these names, like, they really be, whoever made Local Send, like, coming up. Some really good names. Only if ChatGPT or AI could filter out my coughing in the video, but unfortunately it cannot do that. So let's begin, shall we? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up Tony. Now, I'm not gonna use Visual Studio Code because one of the things you gotta be wary about here is what you call what's it called? IntelliSense, yes, IntelliSense. So if I type this right, watch this. Wait, hold on. Wasn't even looking. X equals I don't like capital words. Hi. It it is X o'clock. Do you know what's wrong with that code? I bet you don't. And if you do, you're good. The problem is you're actually missing out a comma. Now, I don't code my print statements like this, but the point I'm trying to tell you is without IntelliSense, you won't be knowing. So, Visual Studio Code has IntelliSense by default, and it'll tell you before you even go into runtime that there's an error here. Tony doesn't, and I can see why, because like it refines you to learn more. So, first of all, I'm just gonna tell you some. I hate comments, I really do. I'm just gonna write down my name first. I hate all these comments. They just make my code look shit. Your code doesn't have to look shit. It can look good. And it can look complicated too if you want that. Um, if you ever look at those leak code solutions on like Python, like they use like one letter variables. I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at? But anyways, um, so first thing is I'm just going to print out the frequencies. F R E Q. I don't even know how to spell the words. That's how you know you're cooked for English. Hmm. And just one thing is, if you get a massive variable name like that, like save time, just, just do shorthanded for now. Like my ideal mindset when I'm doing a question for the exam, right, is spend 50 minutes, refine it, journey, iterate, and keep doing it and doing it in the 50-minute period. Make sure you have it done before 50 minutes so that you can spend the last 10 minutes like getting rid of all that shit. So like from my knowledge is if an examiner looks at FRQ, they're gonna know its frequencies, but I don't think they like when you call stuff, when you shorthanded stuff. So the best idea is just to shorthand it for your saving of time. And when it comes to the last 10 minutes, you'll have time to debug and refine your code for that 100% on that paper C. Now, I don't want you to go and type frequencies for every single FRQ because we are going to be calling FRQ quite a lot. So just hit Control F and find FRQ, replace with frequency. Bang! Just like that. But anyways, that's beside the point. Let's get coding. So one thing is I hate if statements and I hate them so much that I will never use if statements for this use case. Now, if you're using if statements for that, I think it was 2024 or 2025 Leaving Surpassed question in paper C where you're given the what you call it, you're given a leaving cert grade and you have to determine whether it's H1, H2. If statements are fine for that because case statements don't work like this. But case statement uses pattern matching. So instead of iterating through a list of if statements and then doing the code underneath it, you can just do pattern case matching or case switching, whatever you want to call it. It saves time complexity, makes the code look readable, and it makes you look cool because like I don't even think it's taught in the Leaving Cert. But anyways, let's begin, shall we? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do match. It's a keyword in Python. You should know that. If not, then that's a bit tragic. Match throw result. I'm going to do match throw result. Now we're just going to do case one. Now, if I just look at the question, see what we're actually told to do. So let's go back on Teams. Back onto the thing. We can see it's just basically just adding up on index position 0 by +1. Now, I'll be honest with you, doing this is one of the most silly things as a coder. You don't have to do this. Let's be honest, are you going to be doing all that? No, 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 no. Sure, it makes it look more readable, but who the fuck wants to do all that, bruh? So, what we're gonna do is just gonna do plus equal and then plus equal 1 shebang. Just like that. You save like 15 characters, just like that. Another thing you gotta be aware is when you do your code, you gotta be understanding that there is a chance that you might fuck up somewhere. So I'm just making sure that before I do the rest of the case, I'm not wasting my time with an error that I need to fix on all 5 other ones. So let's just copy and paste this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then the extra one, 5. So we'll just do 2, 3, 4. Nope. 5, 6, and just do. Now, you should know this if you don't. Index positions start at 0. I know. It's out for every single language except for Lua. Lua actually, instead of 0, it actually starts with 1. I know. I know. Lua is a very interesting language. Boom, we have our frequencies. Perfecto. Now I'm just gonna delete this because I don't even think it's required yet in the question. But so, anyways, let's take a look at what the first thing we have to do. Yeah, it prints that. So let's take a look. Currently, the first line in the program outputs dice simulation program. Change the program to the. Okay, yeah, that's fun. You just you just place one line. This is program. Wow. Insert a new line code at the end of the program to display the list of dice frequencies. Okay, so we did actually need the frequency bit. Probably should have commented. Also, I don't like these. I don't like these weird print statements. Like, I don't know why the examination makes you do that. You can just do a new line there too. Another thing is, I'm actually just gonna make this look better because I'll be honest with you, I ain't doing all that comma shit. That comma, like that's newbie stuff. You shouldn't be doing comma stuff all the time. F is for formattation, by the way. For some reason, why I have no clue. Tony just doesn't show you on the syntax that it's been formatted. But what can you do? Yeah, what can you do? But anyways, we're gonna do frequency. So let me just look at the question again so I can spell it. Each F for Q. Hopefully there's no error. When you get an error, don't be shitting yourself like, whoa, what did I do? Just look at the errors. Spend at least like 10 seconds just wondering what the error is, identifying it. It could be a non-type, anything like that. Whereas the frequency, let me just go back on this, my bad. The frequency tells us that the number row 14. So what do you want me to do? Complete the code to calculate 3456. Boom, we already done that. You know, you should. That's why you have to save time, innit? In this case, yeah. Cheers, thanks for letting me. Okay, so it wants me to get rid of all the results, so we're just comment that out. That's a question. Another question done. Shebang. Um, expand the program in the tabular format as shown in the app right here. Okay, this is actually a fun bit. So one thing is, I don't want you to go be printing shit underneath the frequency print statement. That's rookie. That's rookie shit to do. You know, you want to do functions, and I'll tell you why. Is because it makes your code look cleaner and it's more manageable. Because object-oriented programming is one of the best. But anyways, so I'm just gonna call this display tabular. Is that how I spell it? Tabular. We don't need another thing is you gotta understand we do not need arguments for this, and I'll tell you why. It's because we already have arguments in the global code space that we're currently in on the file, so don't ever worry about that. So display tabular. So you want me to? So it wants look. So it wants me to do dice frequency. So the first thing is I'm just gonna do print print dice t f e q u n c y. Now, if you don't know what dash T is, if you go on I think it applies on Notepad too. Hit tab, you see it does an indent, like it does a bunch of white space. That's literally what tab slash T is. Just how slash N is new line. But anyways, um, so if we look at the command, if we look at the chain of flow here, we can see that frequencies are printed first. So that means we're gonna have to display tabular below that. So just do display tabular This should not error. If it errors, I'm gonna be upset. It doesn't error, I'm not upset. Print. Now we have to do the lines. So there's four, so we'll just do four for dice, and then we'll do tab again. God forbid my laptop put in the wrong word. There we go. Run that. It should be absolute perfecto. Perfection. Now, what do we have to do next? We have to display the dice and the frequencies. So let's do that, shall we? So what we're actually going to do is we're going to do for position in for position frequency and enumerate and then enumerate FRQ. If you don't know what enumerate does, it's basically just so it tells you the position in the array, the index position in the array it is. So that's what position would be defined as. Frequency is actually what the value is. Now, when you do stuff like this, you always want to now, regardless of how good a programmer you are, I always find that the best rule of thumb is to always just check your arguments are going to be what is expected because like down the line you don't want to be wondering why this frequency statement isn't working or anything like that. So just print this and see what it is. So as you can see, position first is 0, so that's the position in the index. So and then boom, easy, not easy. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to do a print statement. Print. So we're going to do I'm going to do it my way. Now you don't have to do this way; it's your choice. So we're going to do position plus 1. Now let me explain why we're doing position plus 1. I'm about to show you. You can see how it wants 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're seeing how it's outputting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because position is actually the index, as I said, is the index value of the array. So that means it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, not 6, my bad, because Python, as I've stated, starts at 0. But we want dice, so all we have, literally the only best practice, in my opinion, is just add 1 and boom, la babu. So now one thing you gotta understand is that this is one character, so that means we're gonna do space 3. So we're gonna do 3 spaces, then we're gonna do tab line, which will bring us to frequency bit. And all we're gonna do is we're just gonna put in frequency. Now you can always refine the formatting if it doesn't look the best to you. If I run this, I can just hit F5. I'm a bit stupid. As you can see, we have the expected solution. Now, actually, they want an extra space. Now, hence, I have no clue why they want an extra space, but whatever. We'll make sure the examiner loves what we're doing. I don't know why, but yeah. So that's that question done. So we just want to double check. So yeah, that looks correct to me. Let me just take a look at that. Yeah, that looks fine. I honestly, just be honest. Oh, I noticed. That's something you have to notice. Frequency is what you call it. So what I'm actually just gonna do is I'm just gonna put no 19 at end so that make sure your code looks exactly like the dedicated output. Now, obviously, these aren't going to be the exact same because it's random, but you want to make sure everything else looks like the exact same because you don't want to lose marks for silly things. But anyways, let's get to the next question. Extend the program so that it determines the number that was rolled the most often along for frequency. For example, an output below the number 5 was rolled 25 times. You can ignore the possibility of ties. You can ignore the possibility of ties. does it mean by ties? I hate these questions because they ask you things, even if I'm dyslexic, they'll ask you things I don't know what that means. You can ignore the possibility of ties. Oh, so basically it means hence if 5 and 6 were 25, you just ignore it. Right, you just do whatever one that gets selected. But anyways, let's do that. So we're gonna create a function called get highest. Def get highest. As I said, we're functioning all the time. We're not doing code down here. It looks shit and you'll lose marks and it's a pain in the arse to debug. But anyways, if I was rolling most often 25 times, so what we want to do is we want to okay, let me tell you my logical thinking behind this. So I'm thinking, right? We get the frequencies in a sorted by doing the built-in sort function. So that means we'll get this in ascending order. So that means 24 would be at the very end. And then we just get the last position, which is highest, and then shebang. Okay, let's do that. So I equals what you call it? Yeah, I'll just call it ascending. Ascending order equals sorted frequencies. Now you always want to print these, make sure that they're working in line with what you're expecting. Just make sure that's correct. Hate spelling things out. Only if there was a way to comment stuff. Let me just check. That yeah, that was underneath display tablet. So get highest. Run this. So now if I just like spam this, one thing you're gonna notice is it's always the highest. The highest number will always be the highest. So that's great. Now, what do we do after that, Adam? You may be wondering. We are going to print out what is required of us. So I'm just going to do print F format, by the way. Just going to placeholder that for a second. Was rolled the was rolled the most often. Let's do another placeholder times. Oh, forgot to. Now don't get put off how I'm doing the extra bracket. That's just what you call it. Oh wait, no, that's wrong. Don't get put off how I'm doing the extra bracket because like that's actually just what's required. That's okay. But anyways, how long have I been recording for? I have been recording for 22 minutes, boys. 22 minutes, and we're already nearly done. There's actually one more question, boys. One more question after this, and we're shebang. Was wrote the most often times. So what you call it? Get ascending order, ascending order, uh, length, length, length of frequency, frequency minus 1. That should not work. Yeah, okay. What's wrong here? Was rolled the most S string, empty expression not allowed. Oh yeah, okay. Wait, hold on. That's just forgot placeholders can be a bit strict. Was rolled 21 times. As you can see, it's getting. Now that may look a bit complicated, but be honest with you, it's not that complicated. You just dissect it. I'll dissect it down for us in a second. But anyways, now we have to figure out we have to get the number that was actually rolled the most. That's why I placeholdered it and I forgot that the format can be very strict. Be careful. Strings and permutation, all of that bullshit is so strict. Hence I have no clue why. It's just how Python was made. So now there's a new issue, and if you haven't already identified it, is we've ascended it, right? But we actually so when we what you call it? So what we've done actually is so let me just yeah, so 3 is the highest number, right? But once we put this in ascending order, it's gonna be at the very back. So how do we determine what number it is? Hence, because we have a new array that's ascending. Now, this is something you should have learned in the what you call it in the list course on Python. Because actually, I think I looked at I think it was Mr. Dunn's OneNote that I was looking at, and I think it was one of them. But anyways, what you want to do actually is just find the index. So what we're going to do is frq dot index, and what was it? frq dot index. What was the number? This is another problem. It can get very confusing what we're doing, boys. Ascending order. Ascending order. You could definitely make this more simple. But who the fuck likes simple, bro? Cause like, come on now. -1. That should work in theory. 5 was rolled the most often, 20 times. Let's make sure. That is actually not correct. That should be +1. That, oh, that's in order then. Okay, actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a look at this real quick. I'm gonna just, just put it back into normal. See, now we have a lot already done and we have plenty of time to get this done. So what we have to do is we have to find FRQ, FRQ, hmm, FRQ.index, FRQ.index, and we're looking for the number. So the number would actually, index. It was ascending order, ascending order. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do, Ashley? Ashley, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, you know what I am gonna do that. Let me just get rid of this bit here. I'm just gonna get highest, highest, highest equals ascending order, length, length of length of the frequency, length of frequency. Now, hence, if we just do highest -1, hence that should work in it. Ooh, that's right, all that. Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that. F5 index error range. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go back. Just gonna do this here. I hate this assistant thing. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is ascending order FRQ dot index length Q FRQ dot index ascending order length ascending order FRQ index. Get rid of that because we don't need that. Ascending order length FRQ -1 +1. Forwards. Now that is a very chunky question. Now, you could actually done that simpler, but like honestly, it's whatever. You definitely get marked that wrong. Just make sure it's right though. Forwards or road. Previously was off. Just to make just to make the code shorter, I'm just going to find smooth placeholder. Placeholder. Oh no, wait. Placeholder I. Placeholder. There we go. For Q I and then for Q. So this was roll the most. And there we go. Just make sure. Now that's very complicated. There's actually a better way you could have done that, but honestly, it's not. It's a bit too late now. Kind of want to fire in it. So now we have that. We just have to add new line. Fucking new lines, boys. I hate them. There we go. File was almost off the test. Just made this bigger so I can see what's going on. So now we're told next 30 minutes in, boys. We're doing pretty decent, aren't we? So now we have VII and now where the fuck did they change that now from? You see that difference? Look, let me show you. See that? That's minus 26, and then this is. I'll just fix it. There we go. Just make sure it's the same. So now what we're gonna do is def display chart. Just pass off for a second so we don't have an error in that bum cheeks. Display chart. Display chart. Now, so what it wants us to do is it wants us to display an asterisk or using a single statement print and use the single statement print and do I have to? I don't like that it's making me do things I don't want to do. Because God forbid somebody want to do something their way. But I have a very good idea of what I want to do here. So um this bar character equals asterisk for for frequency and for Q print print our character multiplied by frequency. And that should just give us what we wanted. So just make sure that's correct. Highest was 21, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's correct. Now we just have to do new line, cause shit. New lines, man. Damn. I hate the new line stuff. Let's put a new line here, shall we? Man. We now have successfully completed the question in 33 minutes. What an amazing thing. And just so you know that I was like 10 minutes of that was explain what's going on and everything. But anyway, let's explain what we're doing because like so while we're here, this is importing the random integer function. Um so instead of having instead of having to do random dot random and just do random. Um, the reason why they do this is because, first of all, it saves memory. I think 99% it saves memory. But anyways, this here displays a statement. Then you don't have to do all these comments. I'm just doing for the video purposes. This is a list. Find G2. This is a predefined list. Predefined list, which will be changed accordance to This is that's a function. I don't even have to put print7 in here. So what does this do? So this this is special case um for in statement position returns the index position. It is not for efficiency returns the index value. We use F for formatting, plus T for tab space. What's the function? Set variable I as as the FRQ, but in lowest the highest order using built built in source. Oh, another thing is on on version PY 2.0 it um sorted. I know this work. I know what does not work because it does not exist. And now the funny thing is the reason why I know this is because when I was doing a leak code question on the Python 2 version, I was using sorted for linked lists for creating linked lists. It was just it was giving me errors saying sorry wasn't existent. I was so confused. I I looked everywhere, like there was no solution to what. So if you ever get stuck in a problem, and you check Stack Overflow, Reddit, Discord server that does coding, or ask your mates, ask your teacher, whoever, and they have no clue what's going on. ChatGPT is your solution. No, I'm not saying you get ChatGPT to spoon feed it to you, but I'm saying use ChatGPT as your last case scenario if you're stuck on a problem. Now, don't get ChatGPT to do all this. You're weird if you use stuff like that. But anyways, um, so this is a hefty one, isn't it? So we print first of all the number highest by getting index position of x number by using the index, then plus one get number as arrays are set as 0, 1, 2. Then we get how often it's done by using the sorted array and speed I and getting the length of frequency, then -1 get highest because length returns 6, but array goes to 5 because of 0, 0, 0 start position. Boom. Display chart. So this is actually it's quite easy. So this is the function. Alright, we want to use true frequency table with argument that add as frequency, the frequency value, not index position. Just remember that, and then we just multiply it by its own to get value for range 100 times 0 to 99. Self-explanatory. It's just a random. Append, add on the result to the list to the rows. It will be placed at end of list array. Define a match statement for pattern cases. Case pattern check for each number, then add onto frequency table, and like honestly, you know what all that is. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I have really nothing else to say. It took us only 40 minutes. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna check how long the paper C is. I'm pretty sure they give you more than that. So, state examinations, past papers. Let me just check the paper. Pretty sure it was year 2022. Check that in a minute. Year 2022. Insert. Computer science. Yeah, here's a question. That is very, that's very funny. It's only one question. That's weird. How long you have? You have 1 hour. Yeah, you have 1 hour. And we got that done in 30 minutes. Actually, less than that. I was just explaining for like 10 minutes of it. So we got that done in 20 minutes. Spent another 10 minutes commenting. And then now you have like 20 minutes to do whatever you want. But yeah, so I'm just thinking now. Let me just look at 2024 because I did it. I'm 90.8% sure I did 2024. I definitely did 2025. I know that. But let me just look at 2024. I'm pretty sure this is about the one with the fruits. Maybe. Could be about the one with the fruits. Yeah, look, it is about the one with the fruits. But this has multiple questions, doesn't it? Yeah, it does have multiple questions. Now it's all obviously the same topic, but it has multiple questions. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put this code somewhere safe. I don't have GitHub linked onto this, so I'm just gonna go and get up here and just post it onto something. Click profile. You should use GitHub. It's very important. You'll definitely need it in college. You probably will need it in Leaving Cert too, but not at the start anyway. So where's my Leaving Cert? Which one should I do it? I'll do it in. Yeah, let's do it. I Leaving Cert mode. Just add file. It's very, very unorganized. I know. I understand it. Upload files. Just make sure I have that saved. Control S. I did hit Control S, but if you just want to double check, it should be. Yeah, see, if it's grayed out, that means you're currently at the latest version and it's already saved. So I always just do that for peace of mind. You know, no, I don't want to be wondering, am I doing something wrong? Commit changes. Oh, did I forget to put commit title on it? No, I didn't. Let me just look at it. And there we go. Light work. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good evening. I'm probably gonna go sleep now.